Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Saturday to you and your family. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. We're just going to take a quick peek at Bitcoin. Honestly, nothing too extreme, mostly just some back-end data for High Block Capital, kind of see how things summarized yesterday for the week, and then also kind of touch on some support resistance zones and kind of go from there, but nothing super crazy. Make sure you stick through to the end. This will be pretty quick. That being said, if you're new to the channel, I love to teach people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today, and if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below. Also, do us a favor, help us grow our Twitter community here. We're trying to get this up and running, and we've actually seen a lot of growth in the last couple of weeks now that we've been essentially allowing to get as much information to you as possible, both fundamental and technical data. Keep in mind, we also have promotion right now with BitGet. They are offering some really awesome features there, so be sure to check that out. All the information is on our homepage under sponsors, or more so partners, and then of course also on our Twitter. So what we're looking at here, first of all, just kind of touch on the elephant in the room. We had that nasty candle wick down that kind of recovered quickly, and we closed above 26,600. So that's a really positive sign. Okay, that could imply that the tentative bottom is in. It also implies that we don't know if the bottom's in yet, right? And the main reason why I say that is because we haven't touched this support range yet. Not like it has to happen, but a lot of times there's this magneticism that kind of pulls the price to that previous resistance turn support zone, and now we can kind of see that that is still a potential support area. That being said, though, that didn't happen. I was expecting the price to come down a little bit further before it bounced. We may have gotten that bounce, but we're still early. Okay, this is a weekend. You can never truly trust the weekends. But what we want to look at is, of course, yesterday's trading data and kind of just generally what's looking at here. So this is the daily chart here, of course, and this is basically, a specific chart that kind of helps us understand what's going on. In other words, these are things you can't see on the traditional charts because they're all back-end stuff. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of volume, which is pretty standard, of course, but we had a magnificent amount of volume yesterday and the day before. Okay, so both days had a lot of volume, and when we take a look at that too with this buy volume, you can see there's different areas in which the price action is actually happening. In other words, there's some larger $100 to $1,000 volumes at this price point here. So we can see the last few days there's been a significant uptick in the amount of volume. Now you may not think that volume is a big deal, but it really is, and if we can kind of maintain this amount of volume at this price point, that tells us there's a tremendous amount more buying pressure than selling pressure, because typically when volume comes down, the price comes down with it, because there's no one trying to buy. If we have a lot of selling pressure, the inverse occurs right here, where when there's buying pressure, the price has difficulty coming down lower. We can see that with that large candle wick from yesterday. We'll talk about that candle wick in a moment, but we can see, of course, a lot more longs than shorts getting liquidated here in the last 72 hours, okay? What we can see, of course, and this is proof in the pudding to me, that there's a lot more, like the average true range for Bitcoin is between 25 to 27,000, because when you have that range of volume, you can see a lot more buy orders and sell orders, okay? So in the last week, we've seen people trying to buy more Bitcoin than they are trying to sell it. It's a huge thing to me. I know it's like, okay, well, that's counterproductive because the price is coming down. Yes, but in most cases, when you see the price action, the amount of buying increasing, it typically is followed by an increase of price. So the fact that we see that and the price is still coming down tells me there's a lot of buying pressure in this range, and that we're probably not going to see a price point sub 25,000. I do not personally foresee that happening. If it does happen, we'll deal with it, but it's just one of those things where we can kind of see a lot that's going on there. We can also see the whales are absolutely heavy on the trading. Okay, now again, this is the last 5 trading days essentially, and it's one of those things where we can see kind of the price action is getting controlled by the larger volume market movers. Okay. And what that basically just tells us is that it's kind of out of our control, right? So let's do this here. Let's take a quick look at this. I think I got the wrong colors on here. But what we want to look at is some longs versus shorts. So it's probably going to break even for the most part. We can see that we got some late longs here at about 26.8. And then, of course, the shorts are all hedged right around 26.8 as well. Okay, so pretty much just like a battle for Middle Earth right now, where the price action is going sideways and stagnant. And you can see that there's not a lot going on being that of a weekend here so far, okay? And just to touch on this too, we can kind of see that while we do have, traditional markets are open right now, it's a weekend, so technically it's not open, it's closed on the weekends, but we can kind of see this little, this sideways action here where all markets are not really caring too much about the price right now, kind of just staying on the sidelines, all right? So that to me tells me that we're at this point of contention and something could happen soon. When we take a look at this here, let's take a look at the daily and kind of go from there. first of all, let me go ahead and remove this just to make it a little easier to see. Let's touch on some of the standard stuff here. So we're under 50 on the RSI, but we can see the money flow index is pivoting. We saw a lot of increased volume from yesterday. That's part of that. So if the money flow index can continue to increase and break above 50, then the RSI will follow with it. Again, you need volume to be able to break resistance levels. We have the MACD that's plateauing. Of course, it's a weekend, kind of not all that relevant. But the things that are relevant here is that we're underneath the all moving averages that are important at this point. So we are definitely on the wrong side of the tracks. You can also note too that we are making lower lows on the daily too. Okay. While you could say that that's followed by higher lows, it's not really relevant anymore, right? So the key takeaway here is that we're definitely making lower lows in the overall sense of the last recent couple of weeks. And then if you look at the last month or two, you can see that the price action has never closed below this level, which is roughly 27,000. So the fact that we closed at 27,000 yesterday leads me to believe that we could see further downside because we're stuck under that resistance level. Okay, so what we want to do here is kind of pay attention to this level here, pull out that resistance range, and kind of pay attention to that moving forward. So to me, the daily, while we see some slight positive, it's still mostly adverse and bearish. Okay, so don't let this little rally fool you. That's what they refer to commonly as a dead cat bounce, when the price comes down, bounces, and then inevitably comes back down again. It hasn't happened yet. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to drop, but I am saying there's more potential for it based on what we see here so far. Okay, now this descending trend, we can kind of spread that out, pull it out a little further, and kind of see how that works over the next couple of days. But for the most part right now, we should expect further downside just based on the fact that we're on the wrong side of most of the tracks. That being also under 50 on the RSI. We do have a convergence on the MACD, of course. We saw that happen already, but that's going to start to fizzle out likely this weekend based on low volume, and it could be very interesting. So pay attention to tomorrow's market open, specifically when Asian markets open in the evening. We have a lot of craziness that can occur, and that usually happens on Sunday night here in the States, or of course, wherever it is else that you're at. All right, so let's go ahead and call it a day here with one last little look on the daily. Correction, this is the hourly. And on the hourly, what we're going to look at is, of course, overextension. There's no such thing here. It's all pretty consistent. Even with the overextension on the upside, yes, we hit a 9 here recently from that little pivot. We can see the price has gone straight sideways from there. So that's pretty standard stuff. I'm curious where we're at on the cloud. We'll probably still be low. Actually, we're within. So here's a cool thing. If we can finish Monday at this price point or higher, or just say, survive the weekend and effectively close at this level, 26.6 or higher, there's a decent chance we could see more legs up there, because that would be the first official time we've been above the cloud in, how many days? I don't know, at least a week, maybe 7 to 10 days. So that's really awesome. If we can get above that level, we'll be in pretty good shape. So again, you never want to trade while you're in the cloud. That's kind of the standard rule of thumb. A lot of folks, unfortunately, traded right here at the top. And obviously, we saw significant manipulation here with the price action just dealt right after. So try not to buy into those situations. Right now, it's kind of looking like one of those. So we want to wait for confirmation first, okay? I'm a believer in waiting for confirmation. And again, when you wait for confirmation, you get some good results. For example, on our Discord, this is just messages forwarded from my trading signals that we have. We took 27% in 14 hours for Gala recently. It was one of the only coins that was outperforming Bitcoin while it was dropping. So we were able to catch that, kind of trade that together, and really catch some nice opportunities. So those are little things that you can become eligible for if you want to become a community member. If not, that's cool too, but it's definitely there, and we are bringing day trades to the community within the next week or less. Just waiting for our web guys to get that up to date on the site. So we're looking pretty darn good here for Bitcoin in the sense of understanding where we're at. Not good in the sense that we are back on track and we're going to go to 30,000, okay? If I get this question a lot, are we going to see 25,000 first or 30,000 first? Well, right now, I would say we're right in the middle, right smack dab in the middle. If we can close above the cloud on Monday, just say at the end of the traditional hours on Monday, then I'm going to be much more likely to want to take a long position and kind of go up with my trades, right? Between now and then, though, we want to expect the price to continue lower because it's not giving us any indication yet that it doesn't want to, or that it wants to continue higher, right? It doesn't want to necessarily break free, and we can't expect that just yet based on how far down it's come. So again, expect the worst, hope for the best. That's the whole concept here, right? And I hope that you learned something here today. If you did, comment below, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Please follow us over here on Twitter, help us grow this community, and make sure you enable alerts so you can stay abreast on all the new technical and fundamental data that we have rolling out. Thanks again for joining me here. Have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you soon.